Hey guys, welcome back. Today we have got a video about our top Netflix shows.
If you couldn't tell by the fact that you clicked it when you went into this.
Yeah, this is not a grocery haul. This is our top Netflix shows for you. So we are actually going to split this into 4 lists because I like lists.
And I'm indecisive.
That is true. So we're gonna do my top favorites, Will's top favorites, our top favorites together, and then Gone But Not Forgotten. Those are the shows that we loved and they used to be on Netflix and now they're not. They deserve to mention. Number 1
on... start a list at number 1?
We didn't put them in order.
Oh.
Number 1 that we could come up with on our top joint list is Orange is the New Black. And unless you've been hiding under a rock, you've probably heard of this show, and it's just a good watch.
All right, second one we have on our list is Shameless.
We started watching this forever ago, before we even had kids. It's very...
adult.
Very raunchy, kind of. You're either gonna love it or hate it, most likely. Number 3 on our joint list is Stranger Things.
Stranger Things is amazing.
Very sci-fi.
I love that show. Evokes all those old like Stephen King movies and like TV shows from like the 80s. It reminds me so much of Silent Hill. It makes me happy on the inside.
And season 2 comes out
very soon. Late October.
Yeah.
So
that's
that's
a Netflix original. The good thing about Netflix originals, they upload the entire season all at once. So you can binge watch it.
Number 4 is iZombie.
Love it. It satisfies the zombie lover in me, but it's like funny. It's like Law and Order.
The main character, who is a zombie, is named Liv Moore, if that tells you anything. Based off of a comic book. You forgot that, didn't you?
I did. Number 5 is Dexter, and I feel like this is just like a classic. If you have Netflix, you've probably watched it. If you haven't watched it, your friends have told you to watch it, so it's like all the way up to the very last episode.
Then just stop.
Yeah.
Just stop before the last episode. Just let it end there.
Yeah, the last
Thank
episode.
us later. Number 6 is Weeds. It's made by the same people who do Orange is the New Black. It's about a woman who loses her husband and resorts to selling weed in order...
family.
Right. And then it goes way off from there because it's
like down rabbit holes and into Mexico and like...
It's like 6 seasons long
and
good. Just ridiculousness.
Number 7 is Lie to Me. This was another one that we watched a long time ago, and it's about a doctor who, like, what would you call him?
He examines micro expressions in people's faces. So like that whole thing that people say like, oh, if you're lying, you know, when you're thinking, you look back and to the left because you're accessing the creative part of your brain. It's essentially that, but on a much smaller level, so that, you know, they bring him into like court cases and stuff like that to be able to tell if people are lying or not. Number 8, and the final for our group list, is Supernatural. This is one that we just kind of started getting into.
But I started watching that after I finished watching Vampire Diaries because I needed something to fulfill the supernatural hole in my heart. I meant like supernatural as in like category of TV.
Boom, 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 boom.
Next is my top 7. My number 1 is The Vampire Diaries. I zoomed through that like crazy. I have actually not, though, finished the very final season. I do plan on finishing it. It's just not at the top of my list. Like the first 6.5 to 7 seasons were like my heart right there. Number 2 is The Fosters. I like shows that are made for like young teens, basically. I have been watching for a few years now, and every time they upload a new season to Netflix, I make sure to watch it.
I believe they refer to that genre as young adult. Thank you, very good.
On that same train of young adult, I love Switched at Birth. That was one I didn't think I was gonna like. It was there for many years and I was like, no, that's not my alley. And then I started watching it and I took off with it.
Disclaimer about that one, if it's the one I'm thinking about.
Yes.
A lot of reading involved.
Yeah.
Half the cast in that, well, at least the characters, deaf.
Number 4 is one, it only has like, I think 2 seasons maybe, but it's called About a Boy. And it has Minnie Driver in it, and she's a single mother, and the next door neighbor wants nothing to do with children, but her son is kind of like a loner hippie kid. He like attaches to this neighbor. I think it hits me as a mother. It kind of like pulls at my heartstrings, because like every episode you're just like, he is such a good role model for that little boy, even though he doesn't mean to be. The 5th one on my list is called No Tomorrow. A guy who is trying to convince convince like everyone else that the world's about to end, and he knows exactly when and all of this. And so he's living life to the fullest, no rules basically. And it's kind of like a love story and how she comes into his life. The sixth one I absolutely love is Jane the Virgin. I just got like fully caught up, and I'm really sad because I need more in my life. And it's another one that like you think is going to be about one thing, and then it's like kind of like Weeds, where it just like goes way down a rabbit hole. Basic premise is she's a virgin, she gets pregnant by like an accidental artificial insemination, and then the story takes off from there. My last and seventh one that I really enjoyed is called Chasing Life. It's about a girl who gets diagnosed with cancer, young girl, and like how her and her family deal with that. Young as in like young 20s. Kind of has some love story to it, and then how she's dealing with her diagnosis.
All right, so now for my list. My list will have slightly better variety than my wife's.
Not really. You definitely have a genre.
Mine is kind of all over the board.
It's not.
There's a couple of genres that get
1, 2, 3, 4 that fall into one genre, 2 that fall into another, and then a random one that he's not even finished watching.
Number 1, Burn Notice.
Not watched much of that.
That's the beauty of that show. Is the fact that you can jump into it. It's just, oh, you know, just I have a little bit of time to kill, and then walk away from it for a couple of weeks, then come back and watch another one. Bruce Campbell in it. That's all you need to know.
It's the only reason you watch it.
It's not. Number 2, Daredevil, Netflix original. Definitely, I would say, the best of the Marvel originals that they have on there. 3, Jessica Jones.
I liked that one better than Daredevil, I think.
The bad guy in that was very compelling bad guy, even though his name escapes me right now, the actor's name. That was a very good show, worth watching. Number 4 and number 5 are Supergirl and The Flash, both CW shows.
And he says he doesn't have a genre here. All of those are superhero shows, like 4 of them.
4 of them are superhero shows, but they're very
4 out of 7
different shows.
Okay.
When put together.
We were debating, like, some of these could have gone on our top together, but
right.
They're more so him than me.
Say a lot of the CW superhero shows that we watched together.
Yeah.
Number 6 was one that kind of caught me off guard when I started watching it. Just kind of put it on because it popped up on there. And that's The Tudors. Very good show if you like historical docudramas. I don't know.
Yeah.
Has Henry Cavill in it. That is incredibly good. If you only take one thing away from my list, I would say it's The Tudors, because that was very good. Number 7 is like the other one, the historical Borgia, which if you go on there and look, there's 2 shows about the Borgias. There's The Borgia and Borgia. Borgia's the one I watched and the one I liked. I kind of dipped into The Borgia once I hit the end of Borgia. I didn't like The Borgia as much. I thought that was a very good. If you liked the Tudors, you'd probably like Borgia. Shows that make us sad that they are no longer there. Probably the best thing that we ever watched on Netflix, Monk.
Oh, I loved Monk so hard.
That was such a good show.
It's a detective who has like OCD. Loved it. Everything about it. It was amazing.
He was funny. His assistant was hilarious. And then the best thing is that this isn't like one of those shows that you watch where it's like, you know, you're trying to figure something out and then they get the last piece of evidence they need at the very end and you can figure out what it is. If you're paying attention, you can figure out these episodes early.
I don't know why that's good for you.
Oh,
he ruins it for me.
He
calls everything, and that's the pet peeve. The second one is more of like a sci-fi comedy-ish. Eureka. Yeah, these next 2. So Eureka was amazing. That one was just really easy to get into. I'm not a big sci-fi person, and I really enjoyed this one.
Even though the next 2 are both sci-fi.
I know, and they're both, but they're different. They're not like, I don't know.
It's in this like technologically futuristic city where the government agencies are testing out new scientific products. Yeah. Essentially.
That's when he had a smart house. Yeah. Named Sarah. Because I remember nothing other than that, apparently, when it comes to things. That was another one we watched a long time ago. If you can find it anywhere, I highly recommend it. It's really good. And the last one?
Warehouse 13. This was a very interesting show about a secret section of the government that hunted down artifacts from history that had magical properties. Yeah. You know, it'd be like some ancient Egyptian relic that caused the plague if messed with in the wrong way, and they were collecting it to store it inside of
Warehouse 13.
so that they could keep it from evildoers' grasp and
it was
whatnot.
Good.
Very, very good.
Those are our top favorites over the years. I would love to hear what your current top favorites are. I have a lot of downtime at night because everyone else goes to bed before me. So leave me a comment down below if you've watched some of the ones we mentioned or if you have recommendations for us, because we're always looking for new ones to add. But that is all we have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, we will see you later. Bye.